help out those two guys. Thank you. How about these three cats over here? Help these three cats out, somebody. Help them out, help them out. Give them a piece of paper. And get a piece of paper right behind you, Ben. There's just some scrap paper back there. Got some paper, quick, because I have all of 16 minutes. Okay, eye contact, sit up straight. You gotta focus. So, somebody raise your hand if you have a dream. Raise your hand if you have a dream. Okay? Who's brave enough to share your dream? Go.
I want to be a teacher.
Want to be a teacher? Go.
I want to be a pilot in the Air Force.
Pilot in the Air Force, Canadian Forces. Somebody else, dream. Who's got a dream? Go.
I want to be a ballerina.
A what? A ballerina?
Yeah.
You know what? My wife danced all over the world. Jazz, ballet, danced all over the world. It can take you literally around the globe. Phenomenal, phenomenal vehicle for your dream. All right, let me get you a little dose of reality. I love that. I love that thing. I'm going to push stuff like that. I love that. Good look. Very good look. Listen now. Listen.
Awesome.
Let me give you a little reality check. This is your dream. You happen to be in a little place called Lacombe. I don't know if you knew, but out of the 34 million people in the country, 97 or to 98% have no idea where it is. How many of you know I'm right? Little reality check. Somehow you got to get from here to there. How many of you agree with me that's a daunting task? How many of you agree with me it's such a daunting task that oftentimes people in your own community that some of you know have given up before they even began that journey? How many of you know somebody like that? They look at their dream and they look at the distance between Lacombe and their dream and they say never going to happen and they quit. Does anybody know somebody like that? So the question is, I want you to write this. Everybody write your dream. Right in the middle of your page, write whatever that dream is. Write it down. Quick, 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 quick. Top of your thing, write your dream. What's your dream? Now on the right hand side or left hand side of your page, put an X. On the far right, put an X. So your dream's in the middle, X, X. Under this X, write today. Under this X, write what I want to be. And then write this. I don't want to erase this, but write gap. You see, the challenge that everybody faces is, here's where I'm at today, here's where I want to be, somehow I got to get across the gap. Somehow I got to get across this gap. That's the challenge that all people face, getting across the gap. Well, my situation, couldn't read, didn't have any family, lived from home to home to home, abused in every sense of the word, physically, sexually, emotionally, by both men and women. How in the world am I going to get across the gap, coach? Too daunting a task. First of all, loving, caring people. Loving, caring coaches and community members that believed in me, saw some talent, saw some opportunity, said, you know what, little chubby brown kid, you can do something. I'm the chubby brown man, just so you know. So that all these, they're like, hey, you can do something with your life. So the first step in getting from here to there was understanding there was loving, caring people that weren't making $1 million and whose lives were committed to my betterment. And although they are sometimes a pain in your bum, they're here because they love you and they want to see you do something great with your life. So tap into that energy, tap into that excitement, tap into that knowledge, and great things can happen. Somebody tell me some of the challenges that one might face between here and there. What are some of the challenges you might face? Somebody, yes?
People that tell you that you can't.
Negative people. I will be a ballerina. No, you won't. Right? Go.
Family issues.
Family issues, divorce, two people that you love most in your whole life. Getting a beef one day and then all of a sudden they don't even live in the same house. Go.
Money.
Money. Okay, write these things down. Family, negativity, money. And if we had enough, if we had more time, we could list 100 things, 1,000 things. How about this? How many of you know somebody in your life or know of somebody whose life has been negatively affected by drugs? Raise your hand. How many of you know somebody in your life or know of somebody in life whose life has been negatively affected by alcohol? Okay, come on. Let's talk real, coach. Come on now. These are all pitfalls, snares, challenges to get from here to there. So how am I going to do it? First, I tap into the people that are around me. Second, I better have a plan. Let me give you the 4 steps to the plan. First, write this number down. Who can tell me what that number is? What's that number?
70 billion.
70 billion. What's your name?
Thomas.
Come on, Thomas. What grade what?
10.
Who's older than grade 10? Exactly, Thomas. You're the only one who knew 70 billion. Come on, Thomas. 70 billion. Now write this number. How many know what that number is? Excellent. What grade are you?
10.
Ah, the grade 10 kids. Dominate math. It's awesome. Does anybody know what this number represents? People. Excellent. The number of people that have lived on the planet. Write that down. 70 billion people have lived on the planet. Anybody know what this represents? You. Eye contact. Look up straight. Listen now. You can never make it across this gap unless you have a deep and profound belief in you. Write that word down, belief. And we've all been taught that. Believe, 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 believe. But it becomes trite because we don't understand what we're supposed to believe in. So let me give you some scientific fact about you. It is a scientific fact that 70 billion people have lived on the planet. It is a scientific fact that from the beginning of time to today, 70 billion. 70 billion people have lived on a planet. And it's also a scientific fact that there's nobody like you. There's never been anybody like you, there'll never be anybody like you. Your DNA, your fingerprints, your makeup, nobody like you. It is a scientific fact that there's no computer in the world that can touch your brain. See all those computers back there? There's not one of them that can touch your brain. It is a scientific fact that you made it to the moon and back. It is a scientific fact that you harnessed electricity. It is a scientific fact that though you do not have wings, you can fly. It is a scientific fact that you built the pyramids. That's your heritage and my heritage. How many would agree with me when you were this high, you believed in everything, yes or no? Yes. And how many would agree with me by the time you get this high, you don't believe as much anymore? Can anything great happen without the seeds of belief? No. And when you were this high, you had the capacity to believe. By the time that you get to be this high, you don't believe it much anymore. It's because you don't hold on to the scientific fact. When you were grade 4, you raised your hand in class, teacher called on you, you got the answer wrong, everybody laughed, and that stung. You took love and you gave it to another human being, they trashed it in front of your face, and that stung you. And then you tried out for the team and you didn't make it, and it stung you. Then you tried out for the play and it didn't happen, it stung you. And you screwed up and you messed up and you say, why should I believe in myself? I'm showing you why you should believe in yourself. Because you have incredible talent and ability. Everybody write down one thing that you have. What's one talent you have? What's one talent you got? Can you run? Can you jump? Can you sing? Can you dance? Can you listen? Are you loyal? Are you kind? What is one thing you got? What's one thing you got? Who's brave enough to share? Quickly. Go.
Creative.
Creative. Go.
I'm kind.
Kind. Would you agree with me, adults? Creative, kind people get jobs. And creative, kind people have a lot of people show up at the end of their life to celebrate their life. So look, your talents are not my talents, and my talents are not yours. I got two talents. I can work hard and I got enthusiasm for life. That's it. I got nothing else. The key is, do you believe you have something? If you've let, even at your young age, if you've let the world kick you down and beat you around, and you don't believe tomorrow can be better than yesterday, it won't be. Yeah, but Ian, life's not easy. Hey, I know that. I got a 7-year-old little boy. He doesn't speak, man. He's got a little thing called autism. He doesn't speak. So life's not a fairy tale. It's not all roses and lollipops. And yet, even he is a rare and unique creature with incredible talent and ability. Even he, 70 billion people have lived on the planet, nobody like him. He's a treasure. If there was 70 billion of this watch, one that was rare and unique, one that was handcrafted and handmade, one that was special, 70 billion and a special one, how much would the special one be worth? How much?
A lot more.
How many would say it'd be priceless? Write that word down. That's you. You're priceless. Never been anybody like you, no, never will be anybody like you. And so is every single kid in the school. How many of you would like to be in a school where everybody was treated like a priceless, unique treasure? Well, if that's the kind of school you want, start treating people like that every day. If that's the kind of school you want, start treating people like that every day. If that's the kind of school you want, start treating people like that every day. Isn't that where it all starts, Coach?
It does.
Come on now. You know what's funny, Coach? You know what I tell athletes I used to coach? I used to say this. I used to ask them, why am I here? You know what they were supposed to say back to me? Because you love us. And then I would say to the kids, why are you all here? And they would all say, to love each other. That was the basis of our national championship teams. Love. How many of you know love is the strongest force in the universe? What if you here in this little old school just started loving one another and asking nothing in return? treating everybody like a rare and unique creature. How many would agree with me? In a day, we'd have a pretty special place to be. Why not? Or we can whine and complain that the world will not bend to our will. We can make fun of people, sit in the back of the classroom and rip them for what they're wearing, rip them for the color of their skin, rip them for what their last family name is, rip them for their, look at me, eye contact. We can do that, or we can start loving one another. The choice is yours, man. It's not up to the adults, it's your choice. What kind of school are you going to build? What kind of culture are you going to create? Young people are more sophisticated than ever before in the history of mankind. Don't whine, don't tell me you can't. I could list the walls with names of young people just like you that are on a daily basis making their communities a better place. How many of you know that's true? And some of you are those people.
Amen.
Some of you are those people. Believe. All right, write this word down. Choice. 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 The power of choice. The next step in getting across that gap is choice. Understanding this principle. That I cannot control everything that happens to me. I cannot control that my skin is brown. I can not control that my head is bald, which is really freaking me out. Because I used to think I had that kind of Caesar haircut, you know? You know what I mean? Kind of like Dodi El-Fayed, the guy who used to date, you know, Princess Diana. You know, you kind of that Caesar look, hey, and then I looked in the mirror this morning, I was like, dude, I look like Ronald McDonald, man. I got the it's crazy talk. So I can't control that. But how many of you know I can control my thoughts, I can control my words, I can control my actions? Yes or no? Right? Write this number down. $86,000. Do you know that you get $86,000 every single day? What? Dude, I do not get $86,000 every single day. Actually, you do get $86,000 every day. In the form of what, coach? 86,400 seconds every day. You see, there's a great banker in life. The great banker comes to your house early in the morning and he puts 86,400 seconds or dollars into your bank account. He allows you to spend it however you want. You see, that's the one thing that winners and losers have in common. It's time. 60 seconds to a minute, 60 minutes to an hour, 24 hours in a day, and 168 hours in a week. You can spend those dollars or seconds any way you want. And then at the end of the day, at 11:59:59, the banker comes back and he looks in your account. And anything that you haven't spent wisely, anything you haven't spent on your friends or your family, anything you haven't spent to forward your dreams, anything you haven't given to charity, any of that time you haven't spent wisely is what? How many of you agree? What was that? Say it loud. It's wasted. It's the one thing that winners and losers have in common, it's time. Now, there's no guarantee that tomorrow you'll get another $86,000. How many of you know somebody in your life or you've heard of that was talking about all the things they would be and it never happened? You know usually why? Because they didn't take the $86,000 they had and realized it was a perishable commodity and used it intensely on a daily basis to get across the gap. Like, I'll give you an example. This is the power of choice. I can choose to ask a teacher for help, or I can choose to whine and complain. I can choose to take and play Grand Theft Auto 5 and eat Smarties and chips till 3 o'clock in the morning, or I can choose to set that down and focus on my homework. I can choose to do drugs and alcohol. And the crazy thing about that, coach, is it's not a linear step backwards. It's actually a step off the path and off the path. And every time you make that choice off the path, and then most people wake up one day, look at the path and see that it's so far away that they just stop trying to go across the path. How many of you know somebody like that? They're just hopeless. They just go in a circle in life. That's the problem with that social ill choice. It's not a linear choice backwards. It's a choice off the path. Your decisions determine your destiny. Write that down. Your choices that you make every day is what determines your success. It is absolutely not the color of your skin, the amount in your bank account, how many vowels you have in your last name. That's not what determines your success. It's the choice. Your decisions determine your destiny, and your history is not your destiny. What you have been before today, doesn't matter. All that matters is I got 86,000 seconds today. What am I going to do with them? How am I going to use them? How am I going to use them? How am I going to use them? Next word. Ready? Responsibility. How many of you know somebody in your life? How many of you know somebody in your life that the world stops at the end of your nose.